Welcome back, everybody, to Devil's Advocate with Rosebud Baker. I am your host, Rosebud Baker. First off, just want to start this podcast by thanking you for tuning in. If it's your first time listening to the podcast, thank you for being here. Thank you for everybody who's already subscribed, listened every week, to those who have taken the time to rate and review it on iTunes. You have made a huge difference in my life. Oh my God. I got, this is my new favorite review. I love to shout people out on the podcast. This girl's real as hell, funny as heck, great guests, pure entertainment. When's the special? I have the same question. Rosebud Baker's super funny, candidly talks about her sobriety and jokes about her trauma. Sometimes it feels like she's complaining a lot, but that's what I like about it. Well, that's great. I liked the sneak diss at the end of it. And now I regret reading the reviews aloud. But anyways, leave a review. I love you. Thank you for listening. It helps get this podcast charting. It helps other people find out about it. Puts asses in seats when I do the road, when that opens up, if you guys will put a fucking mask on. And food on the table for my unborn children. So if you haven't left a review and you're loving the podcast, do me a favor, head over to iTunes, leave a review, subscribe, rate it, tell people what you love about it, and don't curse because iTunes won't print it, and also it upsets Jesus. This podcast is also available on my YouTube channel, Rosebud Baker. If you want to tune in that way, you can subscribe on there. And if you're not familiar with the podcast, we do a segment at the end of this where my guest and I offer bad advice to listeners. Don't take it. It's not good advice. We're comedians. If we were good at giving advice, we wouldn't be comedians. We've made some poor decisions. Anyway, without further ado, I want to introduce today's guest, who is one of my best friends. She is a real treat, and by that I mean she's delicious. And I'm super lucky to have her. You've heard her on the Unofficial Expert Podcast. You've seen her on Comedy Central, and you've seen her on her Instagram show, Sid Can Cook. Ladies and gents, SYDNEE WASHINGTON. Woo!
Oh my God, Rosebud. What a host.
That was a mouthful.
It was, but you did it so beautifully, and you did better at my podcast.
Oh my God.
I said that. I want to be better at my podcast. That's a cry for help.
It is a cry for help. It's a cry for help just to have a podcast alone. To take it seriously is another level. You should be in a hospital.
Well, I just want to let you know I've had a podcast for over 3 years, so I've been doing this. I'm true to this.
I know. You guys, I can't believe it's been 3 years.
Yeah, and what has come of it? Absolutely fucking nothing. Actually, I have a Patreon. The Patreon's doing pretty cute.
Okay, do you want to drop the Patreon? Drop the Patreon.
Yeah, go on Patreon. We got bonus episodes. We talking shit. We naming names. We gossip.
Oh my God.
We talk about who is making us squirt and why we not squirting, i.e. me. And it's a good time.
Wait, does Marie squirt?
Oh, she sure does. Oh,
she's a squirter.
Dude, I probably shouldn't be saying that on this podcast.
It's fine. It doesn't matter. Honestly, well, maybe it does, because most of my fans range from young white women in their 20s,
okay,
and then it just goes to old Black men who are divorced. That's it. That's it. No. It's very. I don't know how I got these two demos. I don't know what it is, but it's young white women in their 20s to old uncles. Now
it might be.
Hold on a second.
It might be your voice.
It is my voice.
It feels like a runaway teen. So there goes the white women. But your voice is like you've been through enough.
I'm a little fed up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little fed up. Yeah. I'm vaping into my own microphone. This is bad. So you guys are used to it. You know how it is. SYDNEE, I have a couple of things I want to talk about today.
Okay.
Normally, I take some time before I get into it with people. But the theme of this podcast is, what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you, and why does it make you funny? So now you can go wherever you want with that. But I'm just going to straight up ask you, What do you think is the worst thing that ever happened to you, and why did it make you funny? Because here's the thing. You're a good-looking person.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to be doing comedy. So a couple of things had to go wrong. Correct?
Okay, I hear you. Keep going. Points were made.
So I'm not saying, there's like some people that are in comedy that obviously have had like a pretty well-adjusted lifestyle, and I call those people not funny. Okay. So I think and I've seen your comedy, and it gets dark. You and I both, we love to talk about death.
We chat about it. Go back and forth. We kind of have like little open mics amongst each other of morbid material.
Right, which is actually kind of the wrong thing to do, because if you call me with a joke and you're like, is this too dark? I'm going to be like, no. And if I call you with a joke and I'm like, is this too dark? You're going to be like, absolutely not.
But if we do say it is, that means we're way off.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If I call you and I have a joke where, I'm like joking about suicide or I'm joking about death in some way, and you say to me, ugh, I know that what I've just said is offensive on several levels.
And they will do a wellness check.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wellness check. If you get out, they'll be like, is Andy around? Did he die?
Yeah. Have you ever gotten fan mail from somebody who watched your set and they were like, are you okay? Just checking in.
No, but I do get messages like, I see the potential. Keep going. Yeah, just keep working on what you're doing. I feel like you have great.
That is the worst.
Or they're like, you stupid bitch, you're so beautiful. Why are you fucking doing comedy? And I'm like, thank you. Thanks. That's exactly why I do this. I want people to wonder why I'm doing it.
Yeah. So we're here today to figure out why. What is it, SYDNEE Washington, that went wrong in your life that brought you to this business where we stay in shitty hotel rooms, we take buses, we that's really all I need.
During a full-blown pandemic?
Yep, in the street.
In the street.
In the street. What do you think happened?
Okay, two things happened to me. I accidentally burned my house down when I was 11.
Yep.
Because I didn't live with my mother. It's her fault. Like, if you don't raise your children, you allow them to be open to
raise themselves.
Everything. Yeah, I didn't raise myself. I had 3 people raising me, which is equivalent to 1 parent in New York City. So
yeah, a village of people in New York is equivalent to 1 parent for sure.
Yes. So I had 3 people. They were senior citizens, so over 65, raising a child from 2 to 11. I mean, these are people who had high cholesterol, diabetes, a triple bypass surgery, like all these things were going on, and they were raising 1 child. I knew what a dialysis was when I was 5 years old. So that is all you need to say. If you know what dialysis is at the age of 5, you're headed towards a life in comedy. Yes.
Before you even know it.
There it is. So I burned my house down, and, Black people don't believe in therapy. Well, they do believe in therapy now, but when I was a kid, I don't even think there was such a thing. I don't even think anybody I knew was taking medication,
Yeah, dude, I remember because when we were growing up, I think white people were just getting into therapy.
Yes.
Because my mom got super into it, sent me to a therapist. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Because I knew there was still that sense of like something's wrong with you if you go.
Exactly. So this was like late, what was this? This was like late 90s that this happened. So yeah, there was no therapy, none of that. So I burned the house down, and they still kept me around because that's what happens when family burns shit down. You got to still keep them around. You can't just send them off. So they would just make fun of me. This is what we do. We roast. We bully these people who make mistakes and into not doing the mistake ever again.
Yeah.
So
beautiful.
They were like, oh, look at Sydney. She's outside. I hope she doesn't put anything on fire outside. I couldn't be around candles. I couldn't be in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I was confined to like a living room, and I had to listen to Louis Farrakhan, who said white people are the devil and pigs. And somehow some of my closest friends are white, i.e. Rosebud.
Yeah.
But I went through all these things as a kid after the fire, and no one ever like said something was wrong with me. And then before I went back to New York, my aunt was like, you know what? I had been planning on cleaning the house for years. So that was just God cleaning the house. So said,
oh my God, I love your aunt.
She's beautiful. God rest her soul. But I was like, oh, Christians are dumb, but also thank you.
Yeah.
Like, she said the Lord cleaned the house with our fire. So
yeah.
you can't help but stand, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like that's the beauty of religion, is that when you have no other recourse, you just accept and forgive.
Yes. Yes.
It's beautiful.
So I went back to New York and I lived with my mom, and, you know, that was a nightmare in itself, because if you don't live with your parents as a child, it's like, how do I respect you? Like, I know you're my mother, but I don't know how to address you. All I can think about is like, bitch, you know? Oh, mom, bitch. Like, that's the way that I wanted to address her, and I couldn't, because that's not respectful. But yeah, I lived with my mom until I went to college. College was where people thought I was attractive. And then after college, I did meth.
Wait, you said that like, whoa. Hold on, go back. Before we jump from I was pretty to I did meth, let's just take it back a second. So you said in college, that was the first time, is that the first time you realized you were hot?
Yes.
Okay. So you were like, oh shit, I'm like a pretty person. And did any part of it, were you like, oh, I can use this?
Freshman orientation, we went out that one night, and it was like juniors or seniors. We went to, you know, the off-campus houses, and it was a house party. And immediately I walk in and people were talking to me, you know, I'm cute or whatever. And the person whose apartment it was like, yeah, everybody's over there drinking like watered down liquor. You got to come in this room. We got the real good stuff here. And yeah, they got me. I got the top of the line, vodka.
Top of the line, well.
It wasn't even well. It was like Devil's Spring, but it was better than whatever else was out for everyone else. And
wow, so whatever everybody else was drinking, because I've never heard of Devil's Spring in my life, and I'm an alcoholic. So whatever everybody else was drinking. Spring? No.
Oh, that's the devil's urine.
Yeah, I was going to say they must have actually been drinking the actual devil's urine.
Yes,
what you had was the best.
It is so strong that if you're able to get through a glass of it or a shot, you've definitely been touched as a child. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, and I love that leap. I think that's a perfectly reasonable leap in logic right there. That's like the time on Twitter when you said, if you like nuts, if you like
nuts in your brownies, then you cheat.
You cheat in relationships. Yeah.
Relationships.
Yeah. I love it. The leaps that you take are boundless.
You're chaotic. Why do you need nuts and brownies? They're perfect as they are.
That's true.
The fact that you need that type of texture, the feeling that I might get a little surprise and my tooth might fall out. Like, why do you need that?
Some people, and this is not me speaking for myself at all, but some people eat for texture.
That's weird. Who eats for texture?
Honestly, not me, but me. A little bit.
Okay, give me an example of you eating for texture.
So like avocados, for instance. I will avoid avocados because of their texture. Not because I don't like the way that they taste. Their texture weirds me the fuck out. I won't eat fish because the texture weirds me the fuck out.
What about fried fish?
Huh?
What about fried fish?
No, won't do it. Won't do it. It's still flaky. And that looks like they taste the way their skin looks. And that freaks me the fuck out.
So this is a leap. So are you saying you don't suck dick? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying I will if I need to apologize for something.
You definitely don't swallow.
No, I do. Okay, because I don't like cleanup.
Girl, you don't make no sense. That's weird.
I didn't say it makes sense, but you know, when you're there and you got the choice of like spitting it out like you're spilling yogurt, or just swallowing it and not dribbling like a fucking child learning to eat, then yeah, I'll swallow it. I don't want to look like a toddler.
Okay, but you wouldn't put some like delicious salmon in your mouth?
No. It's weird. Also, fish look the same dead as they do alive. You know?
Fry it though. You got to fry it.
I don't know. I can't get into it.
You got to work on this. I think you got to, I don't know what you're doing in therapy, but you got to unpack this texture situation, because it must represent something else in your life. It can't just be.
I just go to my therapist and I'm like, listen, I was doing my podcast this week and Sydney said, I need to talk to you about something. I brought you up in therapy before because my therapist said that ideally, in like an ideal society, the parents of a child would give birth to them and the elders, like senior citizens, would raise them. And I was like, counterpoint, my friend Sydney was raised by the elders and burned down her house.
Facts.
And he didn't really have much to say. He didn't really come back with anything.
I win.
I was like, yeah, so thank you. I appreciate that.
I like that.
Now, how did you go from realizing you were hot to let's try meth?
Okay, well.
And also, how was meth?
All right, so let's do this jump too. So when you go to college, the level of hotness you need to be is not realistic. You know what I mean? Like, people are out and about for the first time. They're away from their homes. They finally feel a little bit more confident. You don't need to necessarily look that good. You just need to believe that you look that good.
Yes. Agreed.
And that's the energy that college brings. So that's why it's important to go, because it builds all this false hope in yourself that when you get out, you won't think that, oh, my degree was a wash.
Right.
You actually are going to leave college thinking that you're going to get the job in the major that you studied for. And that's not true.
Right.
You're going to work in a coffee shop for a long time.
Yes, you are. You're going to be a barista.
You're going to be a barista.
And you're going to be poor. And you're going to have roommates that make you sleep in a trundle bed.
Yes, that's exactly. But anyway, you're in college. You believe all that. You get out. You finally have a little bit more money to maintain how you look. Mm-hmm. So the longer you look good, the better you look good.
The longer you look,
you maintaining looking good.
Yeah.
The better you look.
Yes.
You
okay.
Like, once you have more money, you get better makeup, you get better things to make you look better. You might start waitressing, making $1,000 a night, and take that money, invest in yourself. By investing in yourself, you buy some tits. So now you're a double D, 32, small boob,
and when you
not bust.
And when you say you mean literally you.
Myself.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So then you're so hot that people want to give you drinks. You develop an alcohol problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're still hot. Your tits are out. People are giving you drugs left and right.
Right.
You're getting the confidence because you're like, if people just giving me all this stuff for free, then I must be hot. So you really believe you're like, oh, I'm a Victoria's Secret model. Well,
right. And also, like, it's rude. I mean, they're giving you drugs for free. You know, drugs are expensive.
Yes. And you don't know how expensive drugs are until they stop giving it to you, because then you got to pay.
Right.
That's when I knew I wasn't that hot anymore. When when they were like, "Oh yeah, bitch, you got to spend $100." $100 on coke? Am I missing a limb? Like, why? I was getting so many lines.
Like, am I a fucking tripod? Why the fuck?
Yes. Or gargle.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So in between looking good and then falling off a little bit, meth came.
Yeah.
Meth was in it because someone tricked me and I thought that I was doing coke, but it was meth. And they said that meth is like turkey bacon. And I was like, turkey bacon has never made me stay at somebody's house for 3 days and clean. So meth is the gateway drug to slavery. And don't recommend it's so bad.
Meth is a gateway drug to slavery is the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life.
A bad timing.
You have to write that down. You have to say that on stage.
That might be a bad joke to say during, what everything is going on. But yeah, I was literally cleaning. And meanwhile, my home was a mess.
I can't believe they sold you slavery by telling you it was turkey bacon. Unbelievable.
Idiot. And that's why
crazy.
That's why white people can't be trusted. And that's why the revolution must be televised.
Yeah. All white people can't be trusted except for me.
And but yes, when I did meth, I was definitely with beige people. And yeah. I only have as many Black friends as I can as a 35-year-old. And nobody has brought up meth as much as my white friends.
Yeah, because, I don't know what it is, but white people, we have a tendency and an inclination to ruin ourselves. It's like a way to convince ourselves we've struggled.
Yes.
So we go camping, we go to the woods, we try meth, we do heroin. We do these things to be like, I've had it rough. I mean, I chose everything, but, it used to just be eating disorders, but now it's gone into all kinds of directions.
I had a little eating disorder stint when I was in elementary school because I watched the Lifetime channel.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Lifetime channel show, and this woman had an eating disorder, and she was getting a lot of attention from her husband and the people around her. And I was like, that's what I need to do to get people on board.
Yeah.
Yeah. Family was just so upset because they were like, we work so hard to buy this food and you just gonna throw it up. Like, Auntie works so hard to cook these meals.
Yeah.
They shame me for having an eating disorder for financial reasons. So that's why I stopped having an eating disorder, because I was like, they're right. This is wrong.
You're like, yeah, I'm wasting money.
Yeah.
I think, I think if somebody had just told me, see, I didn't have that. I was the anorexic variety. So I'd be like, no, I can't. I won't eat. I won't eat for days. And then I'll run 16 miles. And that's how my drinking came around, because I was so freaked out all the time. Right. You're like a deer in the woods and there's guns everywhere. And that's like how I felt when I was like deeply hungry. Right. It was just like anything could kill me at any moment. And then to relax from that feeling, I would drink vodka, because less calories. Yes. And I would go from feeling scared and freaked out to lashing out and trying to fight. So that would kind of balance me out, sort of.
The range. That's why you're good at this.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So what did meth feel like?
Honestly, you don't feel like you're on meth until the second day. Then it's like, okay, you've been up all day. You have not stopped. Whatever you were dancing all night, you're going to be dancing for the next day and the day after that. If you were talking, you're going to be talking for days.
Right.
If you're partying, you're going to be partying you're going to want to do whatever you're doing for days on end and not be upset that you're doing it for days on end.
Yeah. That's so fucked up.
Yeah.
I can see how that would be like the most addictive thing I've ever tried.
I could drink all day, all night. Like, you do meth for brunch. I mean, it holds you over till at least
Next week.
The next day at 9 p.m.
That's fucking nuts.
It was
so
insane,
crazy.
And I didn't realize how bad it was until I started hanging around people who weren't doing that. They were like, wait, I would just casually mention, they're like, wait, what? What happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, casually getting into meth. And I was like, yeah, it's just something you do on the weekends, girl. It's nothing crazy.
Oh my God.
People were like, no, that's.
But you know what? It's not, that is like 100% how this shit starts. You just casually get into it. I mean, I just casually got into drinking, and then I casually drank every fucking day, all the time. Yeah, and I was just super casual about it.
But drinking is more acceptable. If you're fucking busting meth down on a Lower East Side bar, they're gonna be like, we don't really do that here.
Right.
But this
no, you could even be in a fucking, you could be at Coachella, which is, as much as they act like it's like a place for princesses, it's, Coachella's disgusting. People are shitting in holes. They're disgusting.
Doing meth at Coachella.
That's what I'm saying, though. They'll shit in holes, but they won't do meth. So that's how you know it's bad. Like, you guys haven't showered for fucking days, and you're telling me
so bad that it's not allowed at Coachella. Got it.
Exactly. Yeah, or like whatever. I'm sure they do it at Burning Man.
Yeah, but probably on the low though.
You think so?
Yeah.
They all look like they're on meth.
No, I'll tell you this. Some of the sexiest people I've seen have been on meth. Sexiest. Like, you cannot tell that they were snorting crystal.
Dude,
they look incredible.
Yeah, when I go to meetings and people share and they're like, "Yeah, I was shooting meth." I've met people who were shooting it, and they were like, and I look at them and I'm like, "Well, you look great."
Oh yeah, I always tell the story about me doing meth, and it gets quiet and people are looking amongst each other like, should we be fucking worried? Is she on meth now? And even when I bet
you they're looking around and they're going, should we try it? Because she looks fantastic.
No, somebody will always come up to me and they're like, did you really do that? And I'm like, yes. They're like, well, you look incredible. and she's like, you said you got that from the Upper East Side? Like, where did you get this?
They're like, where's the hookup again?
Because I have a wedding in a few months, and I just want to cut a little things out from the inner thighs,
That actually that's a perfect segue into our next topic, which is weddings. So obviously,
wait, hold on. I just want to also preference that I am super clean. I've been clean for almost 3 years.
Yes.
Everything that I've been through has made me a better person. I'm not ashamed. And I hope no one takes these, bites and turn them into something to ruin my life.
Honey, the way that I see it, I don't think if you've been straightforward and you've been like if you look at, so that Joey Diaz clip that was like circulating, you saw that?
Yeah. What happened?
Okay, he's like laughing. He's telling this story. It was from a couple years ago, but he's laughing and he's remembering. Joey Diaz is sober-ish. He smokes weed, and but he used to be a cokehead. He was like crazy. He kidnapped a man. He was fucking nuts, and he turned his fucking life around. He's a comedian now. He's got a great podcast. I've done it. I've been on it. He's a good dude. And he's like he's a redemptive character, And but he was caught on this like podcast from years ago where he's laughing. He's talking about this girl sucking his dick to get stage time at the Comedy Store, and it's not a great clip. It does not look good for him, but Joey Diaz has never pretended to be a perfect person, ever. And all of his fans who have listened to him and know that he is both capable of bad and good. Like, that's basically why I called this Devil's Advocate podcast, because it's like, look, the people who face their shit and talk about it and turn themselves around, they deserve the credit. Like, they deserve credit for the things they've done and the things that they're doing now. And I don't think there's anything really to hide if you've been honest and if you've been straightforward. So no, I don't think anybody can use your shit against you.
Every day I'm like, I am proud of what I've been through. I am a woman. I have worked hard. I am battling things. And then the next part of me is like, damn, if I heard this, I'd be like, what a mess.
It's so funny because I'll do, like, I went through a phase where I was like doing affirmations and shit in the mirror. And every time I did them, I was just like, you fucking loser. Like, I couldn't like fully get into it, but I was like, just don't be an asshole is like what my affirmation became.
Yeah.
Don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole. Okay.
Yeah. You know, and you're in therapy now, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm working
Good for you.
You know what I mean? I want to be the best person so that I can stunt on all my fucking exes so they could be like, damn, I let that one go.
Yeah. I would say revenge is a great motivator.
And that's how you know I need to get another therapist, because I'm thinking about revenge. It's like, no, bitch, that's not how you work through anything. That's not healing, okay?
It's totally healthy. It's totally fine.
Okay, get back to weddings. You could go off. Let's try.
Okay, so yeah, no, it was good that we clarified that. So I'm getting married.
Yes.
I've been thinking about these vows, right? And I feel like they're not attainable. Okay? And I want to know your opinion.
Okay.
Wedding vows, should they be made or should they not be made? And are they, as written, are they realistic? Okay? Because the wedding vows as they go, let me read some of these, okay? Hold on.
Whose wedding vows are they?
Just the way that they, the regular run-of-the-mill wedding vows, however they are, like the traditional ones, Hold on here. Traditional wedding vows. Okay, I blank take you blank to be my wife, husband. I do promise and wait. Hold on. This isn't, hold on. I'm trying to find the one. To love and comfort you, honor and keep you, forsaking all others. I will be yours alone as long as we both shall live in sickness and in health till death do us part. Okay, here's the part I have a problem with, because I can't find one. These are just giving me a million different Protestant, Unitarian, Universalist. It's not. I'm going to share my screen with you.
Okay, yes, please.
Okay. Share screen. Okay. Do you see it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So,
for sickness,
in good times and bad, in sickness and in health, for better or worse, for richer or poorer.
Okay, let's get right down to it. So vows, you are saying them when you were at the highest in your relationship. You want this person. So everything that you're reading makes sense. What happens is things happen along the lines that either you guys get in a fight, cheating happens, somebody loses their job, loses a leg, like all that happens. So what you need to do in order to write proper vows, you have to get in such an aggressive fight with the other person and then write your vows. Because whatever you feel when you're angry, that is going to determine how you're going to treat them along the way.
Yes.
If you're in a good place and I write my vows, that's not real, because that's not marriage. Not every day or every year is going to be this, for better, for worse, for sickness, for health. Like, that's not possible. Things change, feelings change. You know, we are fickle ass people. We're human beings.
Yeah. I think these are written for people who are not real. I'm like, who are these fucking people? Like, for richer or poorer, it's like, okay, how poor?
Yeah. How poor?
Sickness and in health. How sick?
Yeah.
Are we talking mental health?
Yeah.
Are we talking you having a psychotic episode and scratching the walls until your hands bleed?
Yeah.
Because I'm out. I'm leaving.
You're leaving, Rosebud? You dropped the line there?
If I came home and Andy was scratching the walls with his fingernails until his hands were bleeding and banging his head against the wall,
you would leave him?
I'd be like, okay, well, things aren't good. Things are not. Because we're going to need to review the prenup.
Well, for the sickness and her health, I don't know, man. I think that's a tough call. Because say, for instance, I mean, I see people do it. You know, people have cancer. People get in a car accident. I mean, I've seen some bad shit, and somebody has to sit by that person's side and go through that. For me, I'm being straight up. It would hurt me more to feel like I am a burden. And so if somebody, I know that, say, for instance, I'm dying and I'm going to be dying of like cancer or whatever. They got to sit through these 3-4 months of complete agony with me.
Right.
And then I have to die, and then they have to sit in that after I'm gone. I don't know. I would be like, yo, I don't want you to see this. I don't want you to see me at my worst.
No.
I want you, I know that I'm going to die. What I want you to do is, I want us to go up into the mountaintops and throw me off. Throw me off the top.
Throw me off the mountain.
Yeah, throw me off.
Just put me in my grave.
I don't need you to see me deteriorate. I don't want you to see me not my best. No, thank you.
Yeah, I don't want, that's the other thing is like, I want him to, let's say I get sick, right? And let's say I lose both my legs and I'm just a torso and he has to fuck a torso.
No, he could still do that. That's fine.
Yeah, but I don't want to be face down in a pillow with him holding my body up like I'm some kind of a lumbar pillow that he has to fuck. You know what I mean?
The thing is about men is that they will fuck dead people. So you really don't need that much.
True.
They fuck fleshlights. Like we feel so bad about how our stuff is set up, but you know, they come in socks. It doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
Legs,
you're right.
Arms. You don't even really need to be breathing. So
that checks out.
I think it's a bad example.
Well, I've told Andy this. I've said, if I start drinking again, even if it looks like I have it under control, I want you to leave me. I want you to go. Because A, I will have lost something immediately as a result of my decisions. B, I don't want him to see what happens next.
Yeah.
And C, I probably have a lot of drinking to get done. So you should probably leave.
It's going to take a minute for me to like reset.
Yeah.
Get back to where I need to be.
Yeah. It's going to take a while.
At least 6 months.
And I don't want to live with the shame of like dealing with that, you know? I don't want to live with the shame of, although that's kind of like, that'll just keep me drinking for a little bit longer. Yeah. If I don't have to deal with it.
You knew me when I did my relapse.
Yeah.
It was a cute 6 months. And that was like me getting a bike, riding my bike on coke and drinking, like trying to my drinking from my ex. and just biking all day in the heat.
Yeah.
Hot ass New York summer, just riding my bike from Bushwick to Harlem.
Yeah.
Poked out of my mind, blasting my speaker. I mean, Adrienne had to deal with that. And that was like such a scary time for her because I would just be out all day, all night. And she would be like, when are you coming home? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Just trying to hide the drinking and the drugs. And
right.
it was bad.
Dude.
I don't want to get that call. I'm going to get a call.
Right.
Got hit by a car. And so she was like nervous. And I was, we broke up and I've never seen her happier. She's so happy.
Yeah.
She's so happy. She doesn't have to deal with wondering. I mean, I'm sure she worries about me, but when I had that relapse with her, that was a tough time. And I don't wish that on anybody.
Me either. I don't want them to go through it. It's the worst. I think loving someone who's an alcoholic is so much worse than being one. Yep. And people don't think that's true, but it is. I've been on both sides of it. And let me tell you something, being sober, watching someone destroy themselves that you love, so much harder than being fucked up and destroying yourself because you can barely feel it. You're fucked up.
But you feel hopeless. You feel like, I can't help this person. There's nothing I can do to get them out of this. And so you feel stuck and you feel sick because you're like, I want to help them, but I can't. And this is fucking me up now.
Yeah.
I think now this is my life.
Yeah.
And it's like you get married, not all for the good, but where do you draw the line as, I should tap out, not for better or for worse.
Yeah.
Vows are just to keep women in toxic marriages. That's
men, I look at it and I go, like I was saying to Andy.
Men drop out. I'm sorry. They be the main ones like, yeah, I could get out of this.
Well, but I look at, like somebody like Andy, who's like a good person and like sweet.
One of the
and I'm like, it doesn't matter who you are. I think these are like designed. I mean, truly the wording in sickness and in health really bothers me because I'm like, there's a lot of different kinds of sickness. And I think a lot of times staying with someone who is sick is a way of I think you're sick to do that. Yeah. So I look at it and I'm like, and I was like talking about my vows with Andy and I was like, what if I just promise to be myself? And then if, I'll be honest. And then if either one of us changes our mind about the other one, then we can be ourselves about it and go a different way. And he was like, what are you afraid of? And I know that it's like not like anybody who's listening to this is like, well, I have no fucking faith in this marriage. But I think it's better to ask these questions now than to do it later on. Because I'm like, I've been alive long enough to know that people change and there are some things that you can work with and there are some things that you can't. And if you're choosing to get married, you have to be really ready to like go, okay, what am I willing to do and what am I not willing to put up with and shit like that. Yeah, it's just important to be realistic about it.
Worse, I think they need to cut that out. Cut that shit out. Everybody needs to stop the press and just realize that's just not realistic.
Yeah.
It's just not realistic. And the thing about marriage is it is all about finance. It's all about money. You're just putting your money together with someone else. You're now a fucking business.
Yeah.
That's what it really, it's for the government marriage.
Yeah.
It's not real.
Yeah.
It's not a real example of like what love is.
Yeah. It's very confusing because I'm like realizing all of this after planning to get married and I'm going, oh, okay, I see what this actually is now. I've always wanted to get married. That's like something that I always wanted to do that because I want a partner and I want to build like a family with them, whether it's like with kids or not. I just want, yeah.
It's a company. You're building a company with someone.
But I think that there's value to that because you are responsible towards someone else. Mm-hmm. So there's something about that is very grounding, especially for you and me. Like, we're comics. So we're just, you know, it's like, I don't know where I'm going to be 3 months from now. I don't fucking know if I'm going to be living here. I can't buy a house because it's like, what if I want to move? It's like everything is changing all the time. So, you know, to have someone to ground you, I think is great. But anyway, I think we need to rewrite the vows.
I think, the vows don't make any sense. And also, the only reason why I would want to get married for real, on the real tip, is if I'm with somebody, if I'm with my partner, and we've been together for a long time, and I just so happen to have money or whatever, I would want to make sure that they are given that. And if you're with somebody and you're not married, I don't care how long y'all been in that same apartment. If the apartment is underneath the person who died's name, you can't stay there.
Right.
If you're not on the lease.
Right.
If that person dies and you guys had built a whole bunch of things together and you didn't work and the money was coming from that one, you get nothing.
Yeah, you're fucked.
My friend was dating this guy, like, he like owned a nightclub and, you know, he's a promoter. He did all this stuff. He suddenly died. She had a son with him. She didn't see a dime. They had to do a GoFundMe for her son. Like for him, just for his future, because whatever money he had tied up, she had to get a whole new, she couldn't live there.
Yeah. Because
who is paying for that place?
Yeah. That's fucked up.
They don't transfer any of that money to her. So when I saw her go through that, I was like, oh, this is why people get married.
Yeah.
Because it's a guarantee that, oh, you're looked after.
Yeah.
In life insurance, these policies, that's why people be killing. Because they're like, well, I don't love you anymore. I'm ready to cash out. Let's go.
Yeah.
You said millions?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am going to throw you down a flight of stairs to get your millions.
It's always, you know what's funny though? It's always women that are killing their husbands. It's always women that are like, all right, I'm ready to check out. Men kill strangers.
Yes.
On the whole. Men just randomly go out and they just fucking kill somebody. Just pick a person and kill them. Women, we kill for love.
Yeah, we do.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know? But it makes more sense to me than just randomly picking somebody. You know?
I mean, when I watch all these documentaries about these dudes who be killing, I mean, the writings is on the wall, you know? As soon as he starts being nice, like too nice, oh, bitch, he's about to take you on a long road trip, and then all of a sudden the car swerves, and all of a sudden these men with guns shoot the car up. He lives, you dead. That's the story every time. Oh yeah, we took a different path.
Yeah, he bought me a new car, and we went for a drive, and then we turned left, and I was surrounded by SEAL Team 6.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nuts. So that's why you started eating pussy.
Yeah, I just know that I have a better connection with women, and I had sex with men for so long, and I thought that like I liked men, and I probably did, but just I know that I can trust a woman more than a man, and the energy that I get from being with a woman just can't be compared.
Yeah. So do you feel like, because you dated men for so long, do you still feel like are there men in your life that you're like, all right, I could still see it with this one. I could still fuck this guy.
No, not one.
You don't, nothing?
No.
It just goes away.
It's gone.
Wow.
I don't get wet thinking about a man entering me at all.
Wow.
Yeah. I'd rather have a woman put on a fake penis and have sex with me than get the real thing. And
that's great.
And that is the turkey bacon of dick.
Yeah, it is. The way you sell it, it sounds like the real bacon.
Well, it's better for you.
What do you mean?
Real bacon is delicious. But
for sure.
Heart is going to be clogged. It's not good for you. Turkey bacon does not taste the same, but it does the job, and I feel better after. How about that?
That's fucking beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm going to use that as a button, and we're going to go into bad advice. All right.
Yeah.
We got a question here from one of our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm not going to say her name. As you guys know, this always stays anon. So, hey, Rosebud, I think you're really funny and also a terrible advice giver, and I need some advice. I'm trying to get a job and had a trial at a restaurant tonight. It went okay, but the main event was that there was a very attractive guy. We had a bit to do with each other, and at the end, when I said goodbye to everyone, he was at the entrance talking to a customer who he knew. I intimated goodbye, not wanting to interrupt, and he hugged me and said he hoped to see me again. The thing is, am I reading too much into this? Nobody else hugged me when I left. Is it weird isn't that weird if it was just friendly, especially since touching has been banned? How should I increase my chances getting the job so that I increase my chances of seeing him again? I have, of course, searched him on social media, but he is all private. Okay, see ya. All right, so some bad advice.
So the goal here is not to give good advice.
Yeah, so she needs some bad advice on how to increase her chances of getting this job so that she sees him again. Increasing your chances of getting this job. Bad advice.
So she doesn't care about money. She just wants to get the job so she can see this person.
So she can get some dick, yeah.
So they're not paying that well, right?
I mean, who knows?
They can't be. Because if the main focus is this person.
It can't be that great.
Yeah.
Right. That's a solid. So we're putting the pieces together here. Okay. I think, now this is just, I'm going to throw this out there as bad advice. You head back in there on a Wednesday, maybe a lunch shift. You find the manager. You hook up with the manager. You got yourself a job, and then you're going to see the guy again.
No. I know we're supposed to give bad advice.
Sydney's not going to co-sign that.
Because if you have sex with the manager, then you're not going to get the job because the manager already got what he wanted.
Ah, okay. All right. So you go in, you sit on the manager's lap. You tell him a sexy story. Okay? Maybe a limerick.
We seduce the manager maybe by sending him like poetry. Like send him little.
Ugh, there's nothing seductive about poetry. That's disgusting. Nobody wants to read a fucking poem.
Oh my God.
Are you kidding me? One time I overdosed on nicotine gum and I woke up to my sister reading me a poem.
How did you overdose on nicotine gum?
I chewed too much of it. I forgot it was nicotine gum and I just went ham on it and woke up in a bathtub full of ice cubes. My sister was reading me a poem. I wished I was dead. I was like, I would rather be dead than listen to the rest of this poem.
An overdose of nicotine is bad?
It does not feel good.
Okay.
So poetry's out. So how else do we seduce the manager without fucking him?
Oh, find the manager's like girlfriend or family. Get close with them.
Befriend the family.
Befriend the family. So then the family puts in a good word and the manager's like, oh, boom.
Yes. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
All right, listener, what you got to do is stop researching this guy on social media. You find that manager.
Mm-hmm.
You go through a full LinkedIn, just find whatever you can find on him.
Yeah.
Okay. You befriend his wife. Befriend his wife. You don't have to give up any pussy. You don't even have to look at a man that you find disgusting. And, you know, yes, this is sexist that I'm assuming the manager's a man, but it's a man's world. And if it's a woman, then find her family.
Yeah.
Find her family.
Definitely find her family. I think it's easier to befriend a friend of the manager if it's a woman, actually.
Yeah, agreed. Women really do support each other. We lift each other up. When it comes to money, we'll help each other out. All right, so that's your bad advice. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Devil's Advocate this week. Sydney, thank you so much. You've been the perfect guest. I love you.
I love you too.
You're the best. We're going to get a great clip out of this, by the way. I already know what I'm using.
We really went in there today.
We did. Well, listen, this podcast is full penetration. Okay? That's what we do. And thank you for being brave.
I was
you guys, you can follow Sydney at do you want to plug your stuff?
Oh yeah. Follow me on Instagram. That's where I thrive. JUSTSYDBW. Twitter, I'm a work in progress, but she's getting some numbers now. It's JUSTSYDNYC. Follow the podcast, The Unofficial Expert on Forever Dog, and watch my Instagram live show on Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah. And you can also look up her comedy clips, SYDNEE WASHINGTON, on Comedy Central. She's so fucking funny on YouTube, wherever you can find those. And you guys follow me at Rosebud Baker on Instagram and Twitter. Follow the podcast at DEVILSADVOCATEPOD.ATC on Instagram. And write in if you have some if you need some bad advice, you can write to devilsadvocatepod.atc@gmail.com. You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.